It's Monday night, it's RaceSpotTV. We are back, it's round number 12 here from Watkins, Glen. And wow, it is the last round of the season. Things might have been wrapped up by Simon Edwards, but there's still a lot to play for. And we have a lot of RaceSpotTV commentators in this race, so don't worry, we'll be checking back on them periodically to see how badly they're doing. But in general, Linus, it's, wow, been a long season. And one of the harder seasons going over the holiday period, but a new build coming, a new tyre model. This could be the last of a running order for some time, perhaps. We might see some change with new tyres.
Yeah, we really could. It's been great so far, though I hope that new tyre model does not affect the racing too much, in a bad way anyway, because it's been amazing racing almost every weekend for several years now. So I think we're in for a cracking final here tonight as well.
Certainly are. We're around the Watkins Glen boot layout, and of course you see the weather there, 26 degrees Celsius, about 8 to 12 kilometers an hour wind. It's variable. Humidity is quite high, but it's a little cloudy. You should have some good racing conditions here today. And, well, Watkins Glen has always been a stalwart of this series, and it's a big draft track, so expect to see a lot of that. Qualifying, of course, open, so you get a good draft, you get a good grid spot, as look at Edwards currently in first in qualifying. A couple of minutes left on that as we get ready towards the end of this, but the championship standings is something we'll take a look at, Linus, and this is what happens when I press control and scroll when I'm looking for the standings. I end up basically zooming my screen in, which looks ridiculous. But it's actually interesting right now because Kid Halliburton is on top. I'm confused. I thought Woods was winning.
No, Halliburton is winning by 7 points.
Wow.
But a few minutes ago, Halliburton was in 11th in qualifying. He's made it up to 5th though, so still got a race on our hands.
If he finishes ahead, if he finishes close enough, he will win. But if he doesn't, we have an interesting conundrum. We'll have to find out exactly what the difference there is in terms of where he has to finish to still win the championship. But Edwards qualifying in pole looks to be the man on the charge. Clay Hughes in the 3rd spot at the moment. He's too far back to make a difference in the end of this unless both don't finish. Ben Daniels, Anthony Catt in 5th place. Matt Cox, Daniel Cook, S.J. Dunning, Clark Williams and Bill Fraser in 10th. Anthony does not even in the top 10. He's 11th place. We've got Anthony Jones, Tom Barry, Darrell Taylor, Jack Hobbs 15th, Ewan Patterson, Tony Stack, Adrian Hendy, Peter Cowan and Alan Piercy in 20th. The rest of those championship results you should see. But either way, it is a very exciting final round here. We get another fight to the end, and I got that one wrong initially when I said it was Simon Edwards is winning because he's been winning all season. Of course, I missed a round, which you were there for. What happened last week at Motegi?
Nothing very exciting. Ben Daniels came out on top somehow, and we had visitors in the booth in form of Fahim Antonides, so that was pretty interesting. Otherwise, it was just the old normal Skippys with battles all over the track and all the way till the end.
So for once, Fahim crashed the booth rather than his car, which I'm sure he was happier to do in that order. But looking at things going right now, of course, Tom Ward could always still be a factor in this. He's a very fast car. Halliburton 5th place in qualifying at the moment. We'll see where this one filters out for him. Less than a minute left on the clock, and we should be set for a very exciting race here. Halliburton, I think within the top 5, he is going to be secure, Linus.
Well, he's leading by 7. If Edwards wins, he is actually going to have to finish 2nd.
Ooh.
As the points difference there is only 5 points.
That will be interesting.
Down to 3rd is 9 point difference from winning, so the only other thing we can look at is Halliburton and Edwards not scoring any points. If Clay Hughes wins the race, he's going to win the championship by 1 point.
Wow, we have a mathematical outsider in Clay Hughes. Well, actually, with Halliburton and Edwards fighting, the chance of him actually crashing out is significantly higher. So, Clay Hughes' mathematical chance might be a possible one here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But let's not forget to factor in Tom Ward here, who will want to just win for the sake of it. And that could definitely shake things up. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But checkered flag is out. We'll be coming to your qualifying results in just a moment's time. The last of the drivers finishing fast laps here to see what they can pull out. Tom Ward and Edwards both on a lap at the moment. Have a quick look at those guys. Just came through the boot. Oh, Ward pushes it hard and he gets wide onto the grass and loops it around. Could that be an omen of things to come for him? Simon Edwards, of course, still has his qualifying spot. He's looking pretty secure. Well, that will be a good final lap. It is qualifying to sell the chance for a victory here today for Simon Edwards. Halliburton is actually on a lap. We'll see him finish that one too. We'll have to look at cameras from our drivers actually as well at some point. We have Paul Smith, one of the RaceSpotTV commentators who's driving today. He, I believe, Linus, is qualified, was around 21st when I last looked, but I can't find him now. Connery Maddock is in 21st. And we have, of course,
Paul Smith is in 30th.
Paul Smith, 30th. And we have Jake Sperry in 39th. So there's been some shake-up there. We'll be able to show you some of Paul Smith's viewpoint at some point during the race. We'll make sure to do that one. But that, I believe, is going to be it for our qualifying. So we'll take a look at those final positions. Simon Edwards on pole today with a 2:07.162. Claire Hughes in second place. Ben Daniels in third with Ward and Halliburton your top five. Anthony Catt, Anthony Jones, Adrian Hendy, Darrell Taylor and Jack Hobbs is your top 10. With Tim Adcock, Clark Williams, Ewan Patterson, Ethan Bass, Matt Cox in 15th with Christopher Keeble, Peter Cowan, Christopher Kelsey and Ashley Blake Hood with Daniel Tufts in 20th. We had a mover just then. I believe that was going to be Ewan Patterson, moved himself up to 7th. We shuffled the order a little bit, but not hugely. Our 1 second bracket, we're looking for a 2:08.162. That comes up very rapidly here today. That's going to be about the 13th place. Clark Williams, so a big spread of times here based on how well you draft and handle what looks simple on paper, Linus. Watkins Glen is very easy to drive, but it's very hard to go fast on.
Yeah, it is, especially up the hill from turn 2, 3 and 4. You really need to nail that section up the hill if you want to carry the speed all the way down the straightaway. If you don't get that hill right, you're going to lose a ton of time. And then you come through the carousel, turn number 5, that could really upset you as well, because that is a little bit off camera and a bit weird to get around. So in these cars it might not be that hard, but in a NASCAR I know that it's a real pain. So there's a lot of places you can make pretty major mistakes by just missing the line slightly.
Yeah, certainly is. We'll have to look what we get from that one, but either way, it will be interesting to see if this can become a decent result today. But a lot of drivers getting ready to get involved in this thing. We'll have to see exactly what they can pull.
Yeah, it's just about time to hit the grid, I think. So should only be less than 2 minutes away.
Certainly is, and we'll get that ready and running now. But at the moment, the drivers all sitting ready, getting on the grid now. Long run here down the front stretch. It's a downhill grade as well, which makes turn 1 a lot harder than you'd expect.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue as well. I don't think these cars aren't that heavy, so they might not have very much of an issue. There's quite a big runoff area as well, but we could see some 4-3 or even 5 wide coming to the second turn here on the first lap if something happens further up the field to stack them up.
Yeah, certainly is. We'll see how that one plays out. Cars on the grid now, getting ready to start here. We've got Paul Smith's picture there on the screen for you, of course. Get to see his view. We'll bring that up during the race, of course. Good luck to Paul and the rest of the RaceSpotTV drivers. Connery Maddock and Jake Sperry as well in there. We'll see what they can pull off during this one as we get ready to go green here at Watkins Glen for the last chance on the season. For some reason this start feels longer than normal, Linus. I don't know what it is, but maybe we jumped the gun a bit early with our qualifying results, but it feels like the lag time between qualifying results and the race starting almost feels as long as the stretch of track here on the back.
I think the cooldown between qualifying and race was 3 minutes alone, and that's usually about half a minute, so... Oh, here we go, green flag.
Yep, just snuck up on us this time as everyone gets going here on the start-finish line at Watkins Glen. Spreading out wide. No real heroics into that first corner, get it done. Get the speed up around the back and get moving as the drivers all filter through here. Tough apex to get right, easy to get wrong there. Turn 1 at Watkins Glen up now. Through turn 2, climbing up through the S's. Very easy in the skip barber cars, a lot harder in bigger vehicles. Honestly, one of my least favourite tracks in stock cars. compared to places like Sonoma and Mosport, but a big kerfuffle at the front here as Clear Hughes looking for the front. Daniels 2 and Ward 4 wide on the first lap. Let's do it, boys. Simon Edwards there saying, have it, I don't want any part in this mess. Ken Halliburton jumps him 2. Wow, can you go first to 5th inside a lap, Linus? Inside a straight?
Looks like you can, but Ben Daniels is going to get the lead there from Tom Ward, who's in 2nd, and Leo Hughes is actually sitting in 3rd. So Simon Edwards, he dropped way down the order there, and that's not going to be good for him. Still early in the race, though, so he's got a lot of chance to get it back, but what we saw there was just massive drafting, and that's what we're going to see all the way through this race. So if you get a good run up that hill, we're going to see 2, 3 or 4 wide down that straight almost every single lap in this one.
We certainly are, and here we go. It's Ben Daniels out front from Tom Ward, Clay Hughes, Simon Edwards, and then Kane Halliburton. So they're back in position with each other. Makes this much more of an interesting fight towards the championship. Anthony Catt just behind him, along with Ewan Patterson. Not going to really see another chance for a pass until we get back round to that same straight again, but we've seen this time and time again, Linus. This draft is so big at Watkins Glen, these cars. And they're going to have to be very careful with overheating, because with them drafting so close, that's going to be a major threat.
Yeah, the last couple of seasons we haven't seen that many engine failures, but looking at the temps today, it's 83 Fahrenheit, 104 track temp. So if you're getting too close behind someone in the draft for too long, there could definitely be an engine or 2 blowing up at the end of this race. So we'll have to watch out for that as Simon Edwards moves well out of the way here to break the draft of the car behind him.
Certainly is, as you can see this unfolding now into turn 1, lap number 2 here at Watkins Glen. 11 laps of today's race we'll have, and we'll see if we get the same concertina effect here up onto the back stretch just out of the S's. Daniels has got to feel like he's under threat right now as Ward gets a big jump already as they come out of the S's. Clay Hughes also going to have a big run. So does Edwards, but Edwards won't be able to quite get up there too. It's 3 wide this time rather than 4. And Clay Hughes shoots through the middle. Here comes Edwards with a chance up alongside Ben Daniels there. Has the better line actually, gets the line on clear, but has to back out there for safety's sake. Needs to be careful. He has to finish this to get the points he needs to beat Kane Halliburton. Kane needs to also finish well to get a result to beat Simon Edwards, so those two have to ride very carefully. The likes of Daniels, Hughes, and Ward could drive a bit more recklessly, Linus, if anything. They could drive a bit more for fun. Clear knows, well, I'm 3rd in points. I could be 1st, but that's a very outside chance. Whereas these guys, it's very numerically important they get the right position.
Yeah, all these other guys, they can just race as hard as they want. All they can go for here is to win. They've got nothing to lose whatsoever. Edwards, Halliburton definitely don't want to get involved in anything, as that would pretty much give the championship to the other driver. And Leo Hughes, he knows that he can win it by 1 point, but that requires both of those other two to finish outside the top 30, and I doubt that is going to happen. But obviously there is still the possibility, but then he still has to be in 1st place, so he can't give up too much time either, because then 1st place will just drive away. So Leo Hughes is pretty much going to drive to win this. That's all he can do.
Does, but again, winning isn't going to help him too much in this, unless the likes of Edwards finish where he is now. That could mean Hughes might actually be able to jump Edwards for 2nd place. It won't be enough for a win, but he could definitely move himself up a spot. So look at this, spreading out now on the start-finish line. Running order: Clay Hughes, Tom Ward, Ben Daniels, Simon Edwards there, Kane Halliburton. We'll take a look back at our... What do you think we're going to call, Linus? We're going to call it the... I've completely forgotten now. I am a terrible, terrible friend and co-commentator.
What are we looking
Who have
at?
we got the camera on again? The Smith camera. Let's go for Smith Cam.
Yeah.
The Poorly Vision, whichever we're going to call it. Currently leading Darren Morris and Connery Maddock there. Maddock, one of our other RaceSpot commentators here. I had one of those old people moments where I just forgot names. It's embarrassing, but Maddox to the outside here on Palmer. Palmer going to get up alongside here, Paul Smith. Nice even run up towards the carousel. And it might be here that Boris gets the outside line. Can Smith hold the inside line? Nearly an opportunity. Smith holds the speed well. Nice inside tight line there. Will just about have advantage down into the boot, but Morris gives it to him. So Smith holding on there. Good racing. Back towards the front road. A bit of a shake-up. Halliburton out front from Ward. Daniels. Edwards. Hughes all the way back there alongside Cat. That draft being a major factor. What do you do, Linus, if you're in this race? Do you particularly want to be in a particular order coming out of turn 1 on the final lap? Can you even predict where you'll come out with how this draft behaves?
Well, looking at Halliburton, he was 5th across the line last time around, and he's now 1st, so I don't know. You definitely don't want to be sitting in 5th place, because that would be a pretty big risk. But yeah, 1st you definitely do not want to be, unless they crash behind you. So it's, I don't really know, 3rd or 4th possibly. 5th could work, but that's a bit of a risk, and if everyone wants to be back there, we'll get what we had a couple of seasons ago come the end of the season, when the 2 leaders had a 10-second gap. Neither of them wanted to lead, and all of a sudden 3rd place was right up there. So I don't know what they're gonna do here.
We'll have to see this time by what the draft allows them to do. Let's not forget Clay Hughes back here in 5th place. We'll see where his car goes on this run. Once again, 2nd place providing a very good draft there. Ward closing in on Halliburton this time. Daniels already getting a good run. You see them close up fast. Look at how big this draft becomes so quickly. Edwards shoots up there into a diamond formation for the top 4. Ooh. This time Hughes not quite able to. Edwards looking to force an opening. Couldn't quite make it work. Not sure he's going to put his car in that gap. But here comes Hughes up the outside. Drops himself 3 wide now to the carousel. Never seen this before. 2 by 3 in the carousel here in Monday Night Skippys. This is phenomenal. These guys are giving each other just enough room here to keep this one clean. But wow, that's brave. I've never seen 2 wide, never mind 3 wide in the carousel.
And that takes them trusting each other, but these guys have raced each other so much, they just know all of them wants to get to the end, so no one's going to do anything stupid. And as long as you hold your line, you're fine. So Halliburton, though, he's keeping hold of 3rd place here, I think, as Lee usually goes far over to the right, and that's going to put him out of the draft and drop him down the order slightly, as Edwards right behind Halliburton, seeing that championship slip away from him slightly, but he is going to get into 4th, so he's not too far away.
Certainly not, and it'll be an interesting shuffle to see how these 2 play this one out. But Daniels even, and Ward looking very strong here. It seems to be a definite opportunity for Tom Ward to maybe come away with one. He's had a rough run recently of having little bumps and scrapes that just make him retire the car. If it's kind of the attitude of, if not first time, last, Linus.
Yeah, it's he's just trying really hard, and if he's not in the lead at the end, he just pushes even harder, and that tends to kind of crash him out, unfortunately. So that's how his season has been, unfortunately.
Certainly is. We'll see how this one shuffles this time by. Hughes not quite as much a factor this time. He's dropping back slowly here with the cars of Cat and Jones, but the top 4 very much still hooked together. And the answer to the question of who will win out of Halliburton Edwards looks less possible to decide here on lap 5 than it was on lap 1 here. Tom Ward getting an even bigger jump sooner on Daniels here. Already passing as he entered the straight. This could hurt him. Halliburton gets a big run. And now there's enough room for Edwards to get a nose past. Is he going to go for the middle again? He does. But really no opening. You'd think he'd have gone for the far right there, Linus, and gone past on that side, giving him the inside line to the carousel, but instead just chooses to try and force his way to the back of this pack. Unless he's hoping the guys in front of him have contact. Now let's not forget, if Halliburton has contact here with Edwards or Daniels, that could be catastrophic for the championship.
Yeah, it really could, but I don't think... I mean, these guys that are not racing for the championship, they obviously know these 2 are racing for it, but at the same time, they have every single right to go for the win, so... They might throw it a little harder at him, at Halliburton and Edwards, expecting them to kind of move out of the way because they're in the championship hunt. But at the same time, you don't want to be the one to take them out. I've done that once, and that is not a fun feeling. So even though they really want to win over these 2 championship contenders, I don't think they're going to do something that will cause them to crash.
No, probably not. So we'll have to see how this one does play forwards. But as it stands, again, a big cluster of cars here. And this is coming out to the boot with 2 wide. Halliburton and Ward there, side by side. Cat looking for an opportunity as Clay Hughes to drop back into the spot there in front of Anthony Jones. But maybe
Oh, we got a big crash coming out of the boot further
Do
back.
tell.
Trying to figure out who that is. That is including Tim Adcock and a couple of other cars.
Ethan Bass as well. We'll get a replay of what just happened for you on those screens. And we had cars just... Oh, initial contact there was just ahead of that group. I believe we had... Taylor was one of them. Yeah, Darrell Taylor just in front of the 866 machine. That was Matt Cox. And Cox had contact with the 361 car there of Hobbs. Pushed them wide. And I'm trying to work out what actually happened. But oh, there we saw Adcock ran wide. Slammed into the car of the 866 and brought that whole accident to be. Wow. Difficult place. Probably the hardest corner there as we look back at the leaders. 3 wide here once again. Halliburton, Ward and Daniels running down to the back stretch. Ward this time might be the leader into the carousel. Looks as though Edwards has dropped back either by design to avoid a crash or just through the way the draft's operating right now. But behind the leading 3 we now have a pack of 6 cars who might provide a bigger draft effort, get them closer to your lead trio. But a fairly big crash on what is arguably the hardest corner of the whole track with it being off camber.
Yeah, it's off camera and you're coming onto a new part of the track, so there is a bit of an edge to get over as well. And if you push wide there, you hit the wall, you're going to bounce straight back into traffic. And since he was at the front of that pack, there was 6 or 7 or 8 cars coming, and unfortunately 2 of them couldn't avoid him, and the crash was a factor. And I think that also brought Ethan Bass out of the race, unfortunately. So tough day for them.
So he did, unfortunately for those guys, as we have the whole front group now. All 9 cars connected up once again. Behind that group, Clark Williams. Actually, no, Park Williams just inside it. Darrell Taylor and Adrian Hendy. Hendy leading that next pair of himself there and Taylor. Then you got Cowan, Hobbs and Kelsey. Those cars, of course, all roughly involved in that crash we had last lap. And we'll watch the leaders this time and through the final corner now. This is Tom Ward leading. You see how quickly he gets swamped as he'll run round now. Down through turn 1 and up through the S's. This is definitely not the place. We know that much, Linus. We know you don't want to be leading on lap at 10.
No, you certainly don't. And Daniels had a pretty bad exit there on the straightaway as well, which is why he wasn't able to catch up to Tom Ward. But as soon as they start climbing up the hill here, they all get in line. They're just going to suck right up to him. And I believe Edwards might be the one to lead coming into the carousel at the end of this lap. Possibly even Anthony
the right direction. Look at this. There goes Daniels. Had a bad corner in 1, but the draft so powerful. He's already alongside there. Halliburton, Edwards side by side. 2 by 2 for the lead. And he goes for the extreme right. Oh, Edwards goes for the brave move there, and it shoots it right round the pack. That was a power move there by Simon Edwards. Takes him to the lead here into the carousel. Almost at the grass there. Ward left him just about a car's width, and he used everything plus the clippings.
He did, and Ward somehow managed to slot back in line and get back in the draft, and he's almost back up to second, but I think Halliburton is going to hold that position, so our 2 championship contenders is back at the front, and in this order Halliburton wins it. But here comes Tom Ward. He's almost bump drafting him down the straightaway, trying to get close to him, but he's just going to stay in line right now by the looks of it.
I'm going to say, this is honestly the Daytona of the Monday Night Skippies, the Skip Barber car. This is their Talladega. This is their super speedway, their track where the draft is everything and the racing is almost secondary.
Yeah, it would actually be quite fun seeing these guys at Daytona or Talladega sometime, see what they will do. But it's so much slipstream, as you call it, on road courses in these cars. It's at a track like this, it gets almost ridiculous. So you just got to play it right and see how it works. But apparently on that being 4th, coming to the line was the place to be. So maybe that's where Edwards will want to be at the coming to the last lap.
Certainly looks that way. I'm not sure I'd want to be in 4th, but 3rd seems like a fairly confident spot to be in. 2nd perhaps not, but there's opportunities with how people might block onto the final lap. Edwards leading from Kane Halliburton with Tom Ward, Ben Daniels, your top 4 there. Behind them, Cat, Hughes, Patterson, Williams in that grouping. Jones just behind them now. As Clay Hughes made a move there on Cat. Big dive into turn 1. Top 4 yet again. We'll see what Ben Daniels does here from 4th. 4th might be a good call, Linus. In fact, that's your shout for the lead on the final lap. It could be the big enough slingshot there We'll see what Ben Daniels does this time. He has the power from all the cars ahead of him. Pulls him forwards, goes to the inside again. This time, cover there by, onto the grass. Cover by Edwards, but Daniels passing the grass. Wow. Looks like fourth is the right place to be, but is that a legal pass?
The only issue with being in fourth is you're going to run out of space and going to have to put it on the grass, and that did cost him enough speed. So, well, fourth place could be a bit of a risk, but he is still up there. Halliburton on the inside, probably going to get in the lead here. Ben Daniels going to hold it around the outside. Oh, he's going to drop in behind actually because he had room. So we're side by side behind him. Tom Ward almost hits the back of Daniels there. So Halliburton, Daniels, Ward and Edwards for now as they actually pulled away a bit from fifth up the hill, but they're starting to close back in again.
Do you really think they can hold this one together? Do you think that these 4 cars will make it to the end of this race another 3-4 laps without having a crashliness? This has been such incredibly tight racing that there's got to be something that gives here, and will it be one of our contenders?
Well, if they keep going in the grass, eventually something's probably going to happen. But through the corners, they're actually giving each other quite a lot of room, so they're doing it pretty well so far. As Halliburton has got up the inside and he has gone through, and that looked like Ward hitting the back of
He did, yes. Ward hit the back of Ben Daniels' car there, which could be an omen that this might not go as well as they hoped. Halliburton leads Daniels, Ward and Edwards now on to the end of lap 8, starting lap 9 now. We'll have 3 to go this time across the line. And the end of a season, will we see Keane Halliburton win? Simon Edwards? Or could it be Clear Hughes if both these guys get taken out? Which is possible. That would be amazing, just for the record. But not amazing as in I don't want them to win, but amazing as in what an opportunity for a guy third place that has to have first and second crash out to win. It'll be one of those mathematical outsiders that would just be a fairy tale ending for Clear Hughes, the Welsh driver who's really proven himself in the last few seasons. Here we go. Once again, the run up into the back stretch here at Watkins Glen. Daniels makes a move from second. Tom Ward goes as well from third. Edwards and now Cat from fourth and fifth. Cat goes up the outside here. This is 2 by 3 again. Crazy racing, 3 wide now for the lead there into the carousel. This is honestly crazy racing. I've never seen them this tightly packed.
Yeah, you can see that time from Edwards' car. When he moved up the middle, there was absolutely no room for him whatsoever. You need to go outside and make room for yourself or go through the grass. So fourth place is probably not the place to be. And Kai, he moved up, but he couldn't make it stick, so he actually dropped down to sixth. As they're side by side once again here, with Ben Daniels back in the lead ahead of Tom Ward. Edwards outside now. Halliburton, they're side by side here. And looks like Halliburton is gonna... No, actually Edwards gets to run on the outside, so he's gonna stick to third position.
Maybe not though in the next corner, because the inside line will give it to Halliburton, or I should suspect he's dropped out, so giving that spot to Edwards. Gonna try to piece up fourth place magic as he has a bit of a conflict there with Tom Ward, who doesn't give him an inch on the racetrack there. Nearly bringing Ken Halliburton up to bear. Into second place goes Simon Edwards there, shuffling away with Tom Ward. Not going to play his games.
Ben Daniels pulled away because of that as well.
He did, but we'll see them catch up once again. But we'll see exactly what he can do from second place here as we'll start lap 10 in a corner's time.
If he can back them up enough through here that he just barely catch Ben Daniels down the straight, that could be a winning move as well. But I don't think he dares to do that, because if he falls too far, he's not going to get any draft at all. So Edwards is just trying anything he can here. Yes, it's 2 laps to go, so it's going to be his last chance to try it out for the next one. So we have a car going really wide.
That's Tom Ward, absolutely bucketed it there as he comes back on the track in fourth place, but lost all momentum here, dropping right down the order. Tom Ward lost his opportunity now, as now there's only 2 cars fighting for the lead here. This is interesting, as now Edwards has the draft on Ben Daniels, and nobody else close enough to catch up. This could change the complexion of this race, Linus. Tom Ward's parking.
Gotten a slowdown.
He's going to park it.
He's just parking it, yeah.
He's parking it. Tom Ward bottled it there with 2 to go, and he's just going to park that car. Can't win, won't finish. It's unfortunate we see that a lot from that car, but absolute need for victory from Tom Ward. Ben Daniels here holding on there from Simon Edwards. The rest of the pack's caught up here. This is going to be interesting now when we come to this final lap. As it's in this running order, this could be very, very interesting, with second and third battling out for the win in this one. Kane Halliburton knows he has to be. Is it if Edwards is first, Halliburton must be second? But what if Edwards is second and Halliburton's third? Is it enough?
Well, if Edwards is second and Halliburton is fourth, they tie on points, but I believe Edwards wins because he has more second place finishes.
Oh, that would be very tight to see.
If Edwards is second, he needs to be third, and if Edwards is third, he needs to be sixth. So
we're going to have a monster lap in a few corners' time. So take a breath, rest, relax at home watching this, because this is about to get very, very exciting. The championship will be decided on one lap. And I can't predict for you what's going to happen here because I simply don't know. This is going to be completely in the hands of these guys, and when the draft calls, they'll have to answer because it's going to give them an opportunity. And what the cards play out with these gaps will be the answer we get at the end of lap 11. Here we go, final corner now. The entire race will be decided from this point forwards.
Moving way out of line to break the draft from each other. Nobody wants to pass anybody coming down here. All of them just wants to keep their positions, and Daniels has got himself a little bit of a gap, but that's just going to disappear as soon as Edwards puts his foot to the floor. And Halliburton is probably close enough, so
easily close enough.
3 wide into the corner.
We're definitely going to see 3 wide here, I think, because here we go. Daniels has to realise he is screwed at this point, as here comes Simon Edwards. Right in the battles.
Might have caught him too early. He's just going to clear him and then get passed right back. Here comes
Halliburton coming though.
Oh, no.
Contact! Oh my gosh, Halliburton problems there. This could signal the end for Halliburton as he gets shuffled back to 5th place. Contact with Hughes and Cat. Halliburton in major trouble here as Edwards might be have gifted the race after that contact. As Halliburton now trying to get past Daniels, desperately knows he has to be in 2nd place here. He's basically at 4th at the moment. He's going to try and wedge his way down between Daniels there in 3rd. This might not be good enough, Linus.
No, it will not, and he's actually going to clear Daniels there, but that's all on himself. He did that all by himself.
Has to make a desperate move.
Anybody else.
Oh, Daniels fighting back. And we've had a disappearance there from a car. I don't know where he's gone. I think that was Claire Hughes. Maybe Welsh Internet has had an impact on this one.
It was, and that has pretty much put Halliburton in the championship winning position again.
Interesting.
But here comes Ben Daniels.
A very convenient, interesting, in fact.
Are they teammates?
I don't know, but I detect a whiff of Alt F4.
Well, he hasn't disconnected, so that's probably his internet. Oh well, let's not. Oh, there he was again. He just reappeared. Oh, and he's gone. Never mind.
No, he was there, but he's not there. But if he reappears, it has to be soon for Simon Edwards. Edwards has to be praying for that. No, there we go.
No, he's
Throughput fell. Claire Hughes disconnecting in the final lap gives the opportunity back to Kane Halliburton, who should, I believe, win the championship here. But Simon Edwards will win the race at Watkins Glen for round number 12. And what a finish! I
thought Halliburton parked it, but he actually crossed the line before he stopped.
He did. I'm trying to process this, Linus, because the positions they were in coming out of the boot, Kane Halliburton suddenly knew he wasn't going to win the championship.
Yep.
Claire Hughes suddenly gets internet trouble.
He does.
After a perfectly stable race, the entire duration of the race, with not a blink in sight. Let me adjust my tinfoil hat for a second, but I smell a rat.
Well, he did.
I'm trying to smell a rat.
He did kind of reappear right inside Halliburton's car for half a second, and then just before he lost connection.
Could be complete pure chance, of course. I'm just. This is just supposition from my part. I like to have a little bit of a.
We'll let Simon Edwards be the judge on that.
Yeah, a bit of a theory in my head, you know. But at the same time, either way, Simon Edwards' fantastic win here at Watkins Glen. Kane Halliburton, though, wins the championship thanks to, as Claire Hughes would describe it, his bloody connection. So we'll go to your post-race results. Simon Edwards comes home with a win at Watkins Glen, but it's not enough. As Kane Halliburton 2nd place in the race, but 1st place in the championship. Ben Daniels in 3rd, Clark Williams in 4th, with Ewan Patterson in 5th. Anthony Jones 6th place, and Anthony Catt, Darrell Taylor, Adrian Hendy, and Ashley Beard. Christopher Keeble with Andrew Leach in 12th, Christopher Kelsey, Ashley Blake Hood in 14th, with Neil Stevenson, Simon Maltby, Tony Stack, and Tom Barry, with Neil Jackson and Wayne Thomas in 20th. Rest of those up on your screens, as that has been a very, very exciting race. And Paul Smith, of course, from RaceSpot came back in 25th place after starting 30th. I believe we also had Conor Maddock 21st on the grid to 28th. And where is old Jakey? Where did Jake the Snake finish? 21st. Okay, so 21st for Jake Sperry. Comes home there from 39th. Big moves for him. A fantastic race overall, Linus. This track never really lets us down when it comes to drafting pack action.
The draft in these cars is just amazing for a track like this. It just, even if it kind of spreads out, it just forces them straight back together, and that brings excitement whether you like it or not. So it's wow, that race was an amazing end for the season. And how Halliburton just drove straight into the back of Ben Daniels on the straightaway on the last lap. I have no idea what he was planning on doing there, but he's lucky he didn't wreck his car and was able to bring it back home. I'm just baffled. Maybe Daniels moved, I couldn't really see, but if it did, then fair enough.
I'm not going to read out the comment from Ashley Blake Hood, the driver who finished in 14th tonight, but he's bringing out a livery on his car that was something that you should remember too, Linus, from Indianapolis, back in the Indy cars from the UK&I series, if you remember that one.
Yes.
He said he loves bringing the squirt wagon out. Does that ring any bells for you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yes. It was definitely one of those moments of, yeah, you probably had to be there, but you were, which is a problem. We're waiting to see if anybody wants to hop in for an interview. We expect Simon to join us, but the UK&I
I think Simon thinks he won the
the
championship.
I'm not sure.
Simon, it looks like
sure
Simon
that?
thinks he won the championship. Well, Halliburton was 7 points clear with 2 drop weeks. And Edwards scores 40, Halliburton scores 35, and that's only 5 points, so... In my world, 7 minus 5 is still 2. So Halliburton won it, but I might be wrong, I don't know.
It is. We'll have to find out. Well, either way, we have got a Conor Maddock from the RaceSpotTV stable, who came home today in, I believe it was the 28th position. Connery?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, have
How's
fun
it going?
racing the Skippies?
Yeah, it's good to be back in the car because obviously I don't do much racing nowadays, having doing broadcasts with you guys and everything like that. But I just kind of wanted to give a good old send off to the old tire model, or not new tire model version 6, and then wait for new tire model version 7 coming in the next build.
I must be getting old. I still remember tire model
Was it
version 4.
Yeah, I can't even remember anymore. Oh well.
But either way, we've got yourself. We've also got Paul Smith, who we had a bit of poorly vision on the broadcast tonight.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
To me. That was terrible.
Oh, we do. It was fun.
That was just shocking from myself. But do you know what? I really enjoyed it actually. I haven't driven in this series for about 4 years now, from when I first started getting involved with the UK&I stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, even if I did cause a couple of issues. So apologies to everyone for the little crashes there.
I'm sure they'll forgive you, Paul. Hopefully you had a fun race as well. We also got Jake Sperry here from RaceSpot, who finished in 21st, one of the bigger climbers of the RaceSpot crew, from 39th to 21st. Where do you find that?
I'd like to say that I found that in pure pace and speed, but really it was about survival of the fittest at a track like this. I think that both of my comrades here were much better drivers here today, but they got caught up in their issues, and as such, I have to take the bragging rights home, which nobody here wants to see. But I found that there was some great racing up and down this field. All the drivers, all the way back to about 35th when I was battling in the opening laps, wanted to go too wide, wanted to battle, wanted to own their craft. It's such an amazing series if you're Club UK and Ireland and you want to go out there and race. This is the best place to hone your overtaking skills and actually to battle with some really good competition up and down the field.
I've got to say, this is one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had when I'm interviewing 3 commentators during a broadcast. For the first time ever, everybody I'm interviewing has a fantastic microphone and knows how to talk on it. It's a very weird experience. But
Make the most
you know what? I will, but for right now, you lot can be quiet as I'm going to actually bring up Simon Edwards, the man who actually won the race, who should be the one we're talking to, rather than you idiots. But hang around, we'll talk to you again in a moment. Simon, congratulations on winning round number 12. And
Not
looks
the
like we might have had a bit of an
championship.
issue with old Mr. Hughes disappearing.
Yeah, I saw him disappear. Yeah, when I was next to him, so I just tried to stay over as much as I could. I haven't got a professional mic, as you can probably hear. It's the horrible Rift thing.
Well, it's nice to talk to somebody normal, not these pretentious muppets up in the booth. But either way, we saw some comments in the chat, and I'm not sure exactly what the position is you're expecting in terms of points here, but we believe you came home second in the championship?
No, if we had the night race as an extra drop.
If Linus, your math is wrong, you idiot.
If that's the case, I've won it. If it isn't, and it's only 2 drop races, I'm second. So,
right, because we know that if Clear had still finished in second, you would have won regardless, because the points difference would have been just enough.
Right. Okay. Is that why? Oh, is that why you're asking me about Clear more than anything else?
Yes, because
I see.
Him disconnecting might have given it to Kane. I was adjusting my tinfoil hat earlier with some little conspiracy theories, which I won't repeat. But at the same time, either way, a fantastic result today. And honestly, this is going to be one of the hardest tracks to race with. The uncertainty of that long back straight. Was there a plan to that? Because it seemed as much a case of I'll see where I end up at once we get to the carousel.
Yeah, that was it. I was just seeing what the guys would do. I didn't expect 4 of them to come past me on the first lap, though. So, and then I couldn't get back up because they kept trying to keep me out. Not to keep me out, but to keep their own position. So I had to start making a bit hairy moves, and I had to do dabbling with the grass on my right-hand wheels to get past Tom.
Not quite as much as Ben did. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but Ben was fully mowing.
Yeah, he was fully mowing, and I panicked a bit. So I let him through because it wasn't the last lap, so I still had a chance at any time. But it was a bit stressful, and I only actually got nervous on that last lap once I got a lead, when I didn't need to be nervous. Only because I thought, I might win the championship here. So through the race, I was just trying to concentrate on the race and not concentrating on anything else. And it was only the last lap, once I got that little lead and had a little bit of time to think, that I started getting a bit nervous. So, it's been a great championship, hasn't it, with Kane constantly up there all the time.
It certainly has a very exciting championship, in fact, Simon. But, of course, we always have got next season as well. And we will find out, of course, and we'll be telling people in the next broadcast, I think that's in 2 weeks' time, exactly what happened, because we'll have to find out from Alan whether or not we are dropping the Pitch Black 5000 that happened. For those of you who didn't watch that race, could you just describe that event briefly?
Dark.
Dark would be a very good description, yes. Essentially, Alan forgot to pay the electric bill, and Skippys had to race without headlights at a pitch black mid-Ohio, which made for comedy gold, of course, for myself and Will. But we'll find out. Of course, if that drops, there's a chance you are our champion, so potentially congratulations. But if that does count, potentially commiserations. So either way, you won today's race, and that's what we can definitely tell you, Simon, so congratulations.
Thank you, and that's all I wanted to do today is to at least try and win the race, for the last race, regardless of how many drop races. So thank you guys for the broadcast. And is this everybody from Race Spot here? Just
no,
about?
Not quite.
No, there's Will. There's Will not here.
There's Will. There's a few others, but these are the common people, the busy people.
Yeah, it was strange hearing the voices in the actual session as well. That was a bit weird.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you very much for joining us, Simon. Congratulations again on the win, and hopefully we'll see more of it next season.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Paul, Jake, Connery, whilst I have you guys here, pimp your series, gentlemen.
Well, I guess I'll go first then, but obviously it's week 13 coming up, and there's not much going on in terms of the broadcasted racing. This is actually one of the only broadcasts that we will be doing this week. The other one will be SimLab Pro Cup with Jonathan Simone at some time in the morning on the 9th of March. That's all I know. But in terms of the racing a little bit later on, of course, we are on the verge of the start of the iRacing Porsche World Championship. And that is going to be absolutely fantastic. We've got the finale coming up of the Neo Endurance Series as well, which would be the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is always an exciting event as well. I'm probably missing 5,000,001 things. I'm sure Paul and Jake can fill them in.
Go on, Jake, you want to go?
Do I want to go? Oh, apparently I want to go.
Someone please go. My God.
Yes, well, we've got so many series that we've got on, of course. You've got the Skip Barber 2K World Cup presented by DES Simulations. That's always a fantastic series. We've seen the end of Sports Car Open, but Sports Car Open GT will be coming in April-ish or March, April-ish, which will be incredibly fun to see a really top competitive GT league really hitting the masses. And, of course, you got all the rest of the broadcasts that happen up and down. Paul, it's all yours.
I just want to give a quick mention to Socks Out Racing V8 Super Trucks. Always fantastic racing. It's brilliant seeing those NASCAR trucks running on road courses. Some of the best drivers as well are competing in that. Bobby Zelensky, Logan Clamper, you got David Williams, VRS Quanda Simspot taking part in this series as well as Radicals. There's so much talent in that series. It's fantastic racing. I urge everyone to watch it. I believe the next one is in a couple of weeks' time. I would believe 16th of March, and it's going to be at Phillip Island. I'll be producing that as well as commentating on that series. So yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
And the silent Bob to my J in Hugo Louise we have here told us we have 201 events coming up this year for RaceSpotTV. 201. That is quite a racing calendar, so there's something for everybody to watch. And speaking of things to watch, don't forget to join us in 2 weeks' time, where you can catch Monday Night Skippys kicking off once again here on RaceSpotTV. I'm Rachel Whiteford. I've been joined by Linus Brostrom, Hugo Louise on the dials, and of course these very special guests, Conor Maddock, Jake Sperry, and Paul Smith. Thanks for watching.